Time for the line call, everybody. JMA is in the building inside Performance Pickleball RVA. Jhonnatan Medina Alvarez joining us fresh off the plane from Venezuela, Duper Nationals. We want to get all into that to start with, man. We've introduced you before on the show. People know you're one of our pros. They watched you win some gold medals a few weeks ago at Pickleball Resolution, but they may not know how important this trip was from beyond pickleball. John mentioned it already in our lead up to this conversation. At least 15 years since you've been home, since you've been back to Venezuela. What was this like, man? Go beyond pickleball. What was it like to be right where you grew up again?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me back. I'm back in the dojo. I missed it so much. I need to definitely go back to my training ASAP. But going back to Venezuela after 15 years was extremely overwhelming. When you leave the country in your 20s and you go back in your 40s, you are appreciative of so many things that happened during that time. And seeing the pickleball started, when I left, nobody knew pickleball at all. Everybody played tennis, not even padel. So now you see these people, they are craving the need of knowledge. So that was the biggest contribution of myself going there. I brought out other professional players. So we were doing a lot of explaining how to be able to see the sport, and the country is just beautiful. The food, I have so much food I can't even tell you, and it was extremely hot. I should have brought some, something to just put in some sunscreen because I think I got burned out for sure.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the food actually because that's one of the things that has to be so more authentic than anything you could have here. Even if you go to a Venezuelan restaurant, I assume it doesn't compare to being at home.
Yes, I mean, it's just, the same lady who's been doing the same stuff for the last 20 years, she's still there, so I was pretty grateful.
Yeah.
That we continue to keep our culture intact. Things are changing, of course, but, going back to pickleball, what I was able to witness, we have around 200 people showing up, which is big for Venezuela as such a small sport, and from different states, and they're starting to build new facilities, 2-3 courts here and there. So I think that in no time we might be having a good place for pickleball in that country.
Jhonnatan, you and I have talked a lot before about my background in baseball. So many Venezuelan players that I worked with, became friends with, of course, over the course of the years, and they used to always talk about the lack of opportunities in the community back there. If they had the opportunity like yourself to move here and bring their families here, they would generally take that in terms of the quality of life and those things. What did you see when you went back to Venezuela in terms of is that improving and community impact programs like La Cochina, like pickleball, certainly playing a part in that?
Well, I did saw a lot of new developments when it comes to in Caracas especially. The things are growing, new buildings, new stuff. I mean, the food was amazing and in such a high level places to really eat. I think the biggest thing that we're doing with La Cocina is not only providing the tournaments, but at the same time we were able to do different clinics that allow people to really ask the right questions because they didn't know. When you don't have enough understanding of the sport, you're learning as you go. What we provided was, this is what a dink looks like, this is what a drop looks like, this is what a drive looks like from the perspective of the pro, but we were able to scale it down to a point that a person playing for the first time was able to acquire right away. So that was the biggest thing we wanted to do it, and we were able to provide some paddles to people for free. So we trying to get into, let's see the beauty of the sport that I think that in no time is gonna, because Venezuelans are really into sports. So we're just providing the knowledge, providing the equipment, and we're saying go out there and play.
What's the plan now for reinforcing it? Everybody's into it when you're there, right? When you're in the moment. But now you and Gabe Tardio and Yudi Castillo, you've all left and you're back here and you're doing your own thing again. What's the plan for making sure that those that attended will continue to help grow it themselves and also teach others?
Well, that's a great question. One of the things that we did was we left 2 pros behind for 3 or 4 days so they can continue to do clinics. And on those clinics, we have the local pros. So those local pros were getting feedback from us, including I did a couple of clinics. And then we started just playing, how do you do a lesson for somebody who's a beginner, intermediate, and even an advanced player? And then what we're trying to do right now is my goal is to go back and do a tour for the entire country and do clinics and be able to set up this foundation. How do you play pickleball coming from the perspective of what happens here in America that is actually extremely growing? And I think right now coaches are being taken more seriously because people need knowledge. And the other thing is we're going to do another tournament in September, and I'm hoping that I can go down, and then I want to see the growth from how we started to where we're going to be at that time.
Love it.
In terms of your schedule, Jhonnatan, I know you're making some changes this year in terms of wanting to play exclusively the PPA Tour and, be matched up against the best in the world. I think is probably the best way to put it. What does your immediate schedule look like in the next couple of months? And also, have you established goals for kind of making that more permanent?
Yeah, one thing that I am relinquishing is being top 10 in the APP will allow me to be in the main draws, right? So now I'm saying, because I think that you always have to aim high, that I'm going to go to the PPA, which I'm going to have to start from the bottom. So a lot of qualies. The good thing is by playing these super nationals and be able to connect with the pros, they're able to play with me at that level, and they can see that I'm a reliable doubles partner. The tournament we played a couple weeks ago in performance was able to really redefine that I can be a doubles player as well. I've been putting my time into it. So the goal is to play all PPA this year. At the same time, La Cocina is going to start going to different places in the Spanish-speaking culture. We're going to go to Chile. We're thinking about going to Argentina. So my investment not only is playing the tour in the United States, but to be that person that can go to these countries and say, hey, I'm just like you. I started from this place, and this is what you can become. So maybe we can get a more global perspective of the sport that I think should be the priority. I think right now in America, we had a really good foundation, but we need to start thinking about getting abroad.
Yeah, talking a little bit more about the ability to give back in this way. You've had a tennis background, and now you have this pickleball background, and currently what you're working with. Does pickleball is it a little bit easier to give back in the community of pickleball than it is in tennis because it's not quite global yet? I mean, what about the sport of pickleball makes it a little bit easier to apply it to an area and then it continue to be something that they work on and be accessible to them? Even forget America. We know there's plenty of courts and there's over 36 million people playing pickleball. Not the case yet in Venezuela. Why do you think that it could be in a country like that?
Well, we have a good infrastructure when it comes to tennis and either, indoor soccer. And you know that if we can lay out some lines and put a net, we have a pickleball court. So now we're saying to the people out there, we can play anywhere if we have these two items. The other important part is I believe that when you are starting to create the self-understanding of how the sport can be easier to access, people are going to be more willing to play. From the day that I arrived in Caracas to the day that I was leaving, my phone was just getting so much attention about Jhonnatan. You were able to set up the foundation. Now I understand this. The other beautiful thing about pickleball is, as a 6.6 rating, I was playing with a 3.0, and we were connected.
Mm-hmm.
In tennis, it's impossible. In tennis, as a professional tennis player, and I play with a beginner, we will never be able to hit it. But we were thinking. And not only thinking that he got a couple points out of me, so I was able to give him that opportunity to see, listen, can be the pathway for growth, and that was such an easy thing to be able to create between everybody that I was in the tournament.
Were there things about Venezuela that you didn't even realize that you missed when you got back, and you're like, oh, wow, I can't believe it's been almost 2 decades since I experienced this or saw this person?
3 things. The first thing was our grasshoppers has a unique sound.
Okay.
and it's a unique sound. So everywhere in the world that I ever traveled playing tennis, I never heard the grasshopper different than in my country. That was the first thing. The second thing is, imagine being, driving your car and you can see, these wild animals that you only see in when you go Nat Geo. They're there because we're in a jungle. So the things that you might take for granted, that's just part of the community, and just you're connected to it. And I think the third thing is our hot dogs are the best in the world by far.
Whoa.
I'm sorry to put it out there for you guys.
Your hot dogs.
Hot dogs are a thing. Hot dogs is not the bun and the sausage, but you have onions, you have French fries on top of it, really crunchy. And then it's so big that if you eat it all, you don't pay for it.
And you get a shirt that says that you ate it all.
Yeah, that's the best one. Oh, we're gonna have to adopt that.
I have a
like
video.
that.
I have a video. I can give it to you. You can see my expression and my willingness to fulfill the destiny.
Surrendered to the hot dog.
We gotta see it. So we gotta see it.
When you left Venezuela, did you ever imagine that it would be that long before you were back?
No, the goal was to be able to give myself an opportunity. I was at the highest level of tennis at that point, and I felt that I needed an opportunity to be able to continue to grow. And unfortunately, with the problems that we're having with the country, it was going to be really hard for me to get that knowledge. And to be quite honest, when you establish in a country and then you go to a new one and start from zero, you definitely get a lot of emotions through that process, because the ego is saying, why would you leave? You have everything here. You're one of the best players in the country. Why would you go out and go to a new country trying to make it, knowing that it's going to be from zero? So leaving the country as a tennis player and coming back as a pickleball player, one of my biggest things was I was going to give back to my community as much as I did. And every single day for at least 6 to 7 hours, I was on court because everybody wanted me to play with them. Give me a tip. Can I see your paddle? Can I take a picture? And what I love about it was I am helping to develop a sport. And so later on I can say, I was able to be part of that. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no question about it. We're glad that you were able to do that, represent your country, represent performance as well while you were there. Now that you're back here, you alluded to it in the beginning. You need to get back to the dojo and train. A lot of that food, those big hot dogs, you're going to have to hit the gym a little bit harder. Let's give people just a real quick spiel about this JMax, this Digimax program. You and I have been talking about it. Rosen's already fully entrenched in this. So a quick overview of what it is and how, or maybe even why, people who may not think they would need this could actually benefit from an overall experience when it comes to training with pickleball, not just dinking and driving and things on the court, but also making sure that your body can handle a long tournament day.
Correct. Well, this initiative came with the perspective that I wanted to have enough data before and after training or matches in order for me to know what I'm going to go from there. One of the biggest things that I felt in my tennis career was that I would do a lesson with the coach and the lesson will be over. And he's like, well, I'll see you tomorrow. But I didn't take anything home but just his feedback. And I couldn't hold on to all that information during that hour. So what DigiMac does is it gives you a high level understanding where you are. And from that perspective, from the physical, technical, emotional, competitive, and tactical, where do you need to be and where you are right now. And then from there we're going to set up a bunch of tests that's going to give you your accuracy, your control, how physically you are, and how mentally you are exposed to the elements and endure those things. And then we create your goals, your objectives, and we put everything on a board so we can track your progress.
It's amazing. I mean, it's really amazing the evolution of that in terms of where you've taken it already in, I don't want to call it a short period of time because I know you've been envisioning this for a longer period of time. Something else we've been envisioning is the JMA experience, which will debut here at Performance in the next few weeks, which is going to be, I don't like to use the term cross-training, but hybrid training between strength, mental, and pickleball. Map out, I know we haven't fully fleshed out the programming, but knowing you have it in your head already. Map out for people what that's going to be and what they can take out of it when we put it into our program in the next month.
Correct. So basically what we want to do is to create a fusion that allows people that can maximize their body into pickleball so they can last longer, so they can be stronger, faster, and most important, they can be injury free. That's the thing that a lot of people are not talking about. You know, we all want to play pickleball, but we come into the court, we start swinging left and right, we got out, and then you can see how the body's taking a beating. So the goal is to make sure that when you step on a pickleball court that you have everything you need to maximize yourself regardless of your age. The most important is if you train it, you're going to be able to maximize it. So during this process we're gonna do is, for example, today you're gonna have to do 250 dinks, and then that's a part that you're gonna do on the court. Outside of the court, I need you to do some ladders and some agility. I need you to do some coordination. I have my blaze spots that allows you to be able to see a light, and from there your stimulus to be able to put your paddle. So I'm gonna create something so unique that I know that when the person are done with that training, they're gonna be like, wow, look at me. It's easier for me to be able to move, especially the movement. We don't never talk about the movement
Right.
in pickleball. The crab walk, that takes a beating. I mean, the body is always in different shapes and forms to be able to defend balls. So that needs to be trained. That cannot just be, hey, you sit up for 8 hours, you're not doing your work, and now you gotta get up and start swinging. I want people to protect their bodies so they can play longer.
What do they have to do to get involved with this? So reach out to you directly, your website?
For the DG Max, is in my website. When it comes to the J experience, we're gonna put it out there on our performance.
We'll have a registration page on the
correct.
website. Yeah, PPBRVA. I'm imagining it'll probably be /JMA.
That's right.
I don't think that web
When we name the
URL has been
page,
taken.
but,
So yeah.
no, for those that have signed up for leagues and one-day events here, it'll be just as simple as that to sign up for that experience. And hopefully, like I said, we'll have that up and available in the next couple of weeks.
Easy enough. Well, JMA, thanks for your time, buddy.
Thank you.
Really appreciate this. I'm sure we'll have you back. I definitely want to have you back where we can do a little teaser here, talk about eyewear.
Correct.
We've got
Super important.
We've got some stuff coming to the gift shop, and some people think, I look weird, not wearing that glasses, whatever. You'll be thankful if something comes near your face, an opponent's ball or a partner's paddle.
The gift shop, the performance training store.
Correct.
Training store. Okay, good.
I love it.
I was wondering if we were
I
gonna have a
love
name
it.
for this,
I love it.
because we got the kitchen. I didn't
Yes.
know if we would have a cool name for the gift shop, the
We
training
should
store.
call it
We
the
do.
vault. The
Yeah.
vault.
The
Yeah,
vault.
there it is, the vault. We don't have a
Yeah.
name for it yet. Maybe we just got one.
We're brainstorming here on the stack. Really appreciate it. Again, thanks so much for your time, giving us a little taste of your trip to Venezuela. I'm looking forward to the real taste of a hot dog. Let's see if we can make that
Yes.
happen.
Now I want a hot dog.
I know, me too. What's
Thank you,
going on?
guys, and for everybody that's hearing us right now, you need to come here. This is the place to be. There is not a day goes by that I want to go home. Don't tell my wife.
I'll cut that part out. Cut that part. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, guys.